I would be working out here, but it's still warming up a little bit. We've got ice everywhere. So it's in the 40s. Not quite warm enough to enjoy yet. I can turn the little one off because I've got my other ones going here. I neglected to set a lot of firewood in here, so because I wasn't expecting all the nasty to last this long. So my projects are kind of on hold at the moment. I've got a bunch of coupling nuts I still have to drill holes in. I've got quite a few of them that have already been done, and still got a little ways to go on that. But I'm looking forward to playing with that. And so I've got to drill the rivet out of each one of these pieces here that holds that wire, and replace it with one of these coupling nuts with a bolt on just like that. But I am waiting for slightly warmer weather. Most everywhere else it's already melted off, but it's got to stay right in front of my shop doors. Okay. Look at all my coupling nuts drilled, and I've used air and blown out all the chips, and I've kind of assembled them in the way they're going to be. Decided the lock ring will stay on the bolt size, since the lock ring and the lock washer actually is about the same size as the head of the bolt, so that would work better than if it's against the nut. But that'll be in the blade, and then the set screw, which is right here, will close in on the wire as it goes around. And I am kind of curious how much weight I'm going to be adding to each of the turbines. So maybe I'll take a little count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. That's 24 of those. And you probably won't use the whole roll of that, but we'll go ahead and weigh it all at the same time and see what we come up with. Yep. Chemtrailers had a few days off, but they're back at it hard and heavy. I find it interesting when you don't see chemtrails over Fort Worth, you see jets flying by, so fighter jets. I think the situation is the bigwig comes into town, and all all the planes that don't have a flight path get canceled, which means chemtrailers. So it gets us back to the regular passenger planes that we see a lot of, and then the jets that circle, fighter jets. Anyway, I've got my little nuts fixed up here, and so I've got to mount these bad boys. Means the old ones have to come off. Yeah, so the first thing I want to do, that's gonna be a 1/4 inch hole to accommodate that bolt going through, but first thing I have to do is remove this old stuff. That worked well for what I used it for, but it's not stout enough to be able to handle the next generator, and I don't know that would hold up that well in high wind anyway, so upgrade is in order. Didn't do any good when it spins. Oop, let's try it again. Just like that. Right, let go of that. Ah. Whoop. Fun, fun, fun. You always figure out the best way to do something after you've been doing it a little while. Let's see if I can do this right again. Almost did it right. That one goes away. Let me show you how frugal I am. My son always called it cheap. These little washers are precision for rivets, and I'm going to find a way to clear those out and reuse those again. I don't just throw them away. So I suppose I am just a wee bit cheap, but let's get that one off. Now I've got to flip it and do the other end, and then I've got to do the other two as well. I've got all the little nipples on all three of the turbines. I've got to get ready to do the wiring. I was going to say I had an opportunity to talk to Jeff of Missouri Wind and Solar yesterday. Seemed like a really nice guy. It's my first time to talk directly with him. Of course, he's in Missouri and I'm in Texas, so it's not like I can just walk over and visit the store. But anyway, it was really nice talking with him. be tricky. Yep, this is going to be tricky. It's going to be fun. May end up making a straightener so I can straighten this stuff out first. I worked in a machine shop when I was a much younger man, and I actually worked myself up to being the foreman of the place over a 7-year period of time. I think I know how to build a straightener, but I'm not going to be doing that right away. Yep, this is going to be tough. These are actually in the wrong places for this style. I mean, it was fine when I had the little little pieces of aluminum with the holes in it, and I just tie in the fishing line all the way around. But once I finish these three, these are my prototypes. These are what I'm testing on. I'm playing with them, figuring out what I need to change, what to improve, kind of going along, changing things as I go along. And these, on the next one I build, will probably be back here on this corner, and I'll be able to bend that back down. I've got it bent up to catch more air, but that would be a pretty good size ring. That would hold these blades pretty steady. And if that's bent down, that eliminates this angle that this is at right now. It could be that I could loosen these up, get the wire in, and then tighten it back up, which may end up being what I do. But it's those things you just trial and error. You try something, and if it doesn't work, then you rethink it and go back and tackle it a different way. Yep. I'm going to loosen those up and get the wires through all the hoops, then tighten it back down. That sounds like the simplest way to do that part, and then I can do the adjustments after the wire's in place. Yep, this isn't working for me. I don't like the placement of these at all, because the angle of the blade, each of the nipples is leaning to the right, which puts the wire in a bind, and if I try and straighten that out, of course it's going to bend the blade. So these are coming off. I'm going to move them back here. So that's what I was thinking about the other day. I think that's the best thing to do. Yeah, I like this much better. So went into the holes really easy. They're a little bit further in. They're a lot more solid. This is nice. I don't like the 1/4-inch holes, but whenever I start building new ones, the next ones won't have that. I'll add this hole into the layout whenever I'm doing the pattern cutting and drilling. You might want to see how I punch the holes. It'll be a whole lot easier to drill than it is to do what I'm about to do, but a whole lot more accurate. But it's just a punch. And I'm going to try and get that lined up where it's equal meat on both sides of that. And then pop it. Look at that. Nice clean hole. And after I get them all punched, I'll get my sheet metal working stuff and kind of bend that down just a little bit, and that way they're all pointing straight up. It won't have that pitch to it. And that's how I'm going to do that. So get back to work. Okay. I'm not sure how much wire this takes. Maybe something like that. This is stainless steel jewelry wire, so it's not real super stiff. It's not a really hard stainless, but it works. I think it'll work just fine for this. Let's see if this goes around as easily as it did on the other side. Yeah, I think the new placement on these works out much better. Once you get it started in there, it just goes. I cut the other side where it had about a 3-inch overlap. I didn't measure it, I just guesstimated at it. Something like that. I've bought over 3 pairs of dikes over the last 10 years or so, but I can't ever seem to keep track of them. But this works. It works. So feed that into that hole beside the other one. And now it's just a matter of measuring from tip to tip on each blade and then locking it down, and it won't go anywhere. So now comes the tedious part. Still got some work to do. I still got to put the wire on the top of this one. Since I've got one complete, I've kind of set it up, put it all together with the Freedom 2. It's not hooked up to wires because I'm not ready to do that yet. That's what it looks like, but I think we're a little too close to the ground, and it just I'm not getting enough wind at the moment to turn it while it's sitting here, but it really doesn't take that much effort to turn it. But I want to see it spin, and it's just not doing it this close to the ground on this mostly calm day. You can see the top of the evergreen trees over there kind of wiggling a little bit. See the trash in that tree moving around. The reason I'm not ready to wire it up yet is this is the rectifiers for it. And what I'm going to do is I've got to dig out my shear. I got some scrap aluminum, and that I will cut into rectangular strips and bend them to make a heat sink for that. I'm assuming it needs kind of a heat sink because the rectifier that came with the single Freedom PMG, this is it, and that's got some pretty good fins on there for heat sinking, so I think the heat sink wouldn't hurt. Yeah, so I've got to do that. Yep. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get that up on top of my pole and see if it spins. The Freedom 2 is a little bit heavier than the Freedom PMG. That's one way to count it right there. That's your RPM. Around 40 volts. Battery went bad, so I don't have any idea what the wind speed is right now, but I don't know, it's probably 10 or 12 miles per hour right at the moment. Not too bad for my little VAWT. Yeah, I would just be guessing. If there could be some kind of a sensor and relay system where when the power drops below a certain point that it automatically switches itself into series where it gets higher voltage and then sets back into parallel like it is right now when the winds are up. That way you have a little more of a consistent power going into your battery bank or back on the grid. That would be great. So that would charge, getting to where it wouldn't charge the battery.
Who'd have thunk it?